Early days, though. What was I mean, other than having first kid on the way, what was like one of the biggest challenges? Just even getting it off the ground. Like you had great subcontracting experience, so you kind of knew how the trades all come together in that sense. You had which I think is probably the most important person on a job, is superintendent, right? You had super foreman experience, which is really good, but then getting the business off the ground. What were some early challenges that stood out to you?
The biggest one, and I've told a lot of people this, is I kind of decided to leave Town Line. I gave them a long notice, so it was good for them and good for me to get my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
But I kind of went to the bank a little too late and thought, I'm just going to start a business and go get a business loan and do all this. And the bank was like, well, yeah, but you have no experience with this and you're young. You have no backing for it. And we had already spent quite a bit of money on our renovation that we did on our house. And I started with very little spare money to run a general contracting business, which in general contracting world, you need to spend a whole bunch of money before you get any back.
Yeah.
That was a big challenge. I think it slowed growth quite a bit in the beginning. And I don't know why I never went to any friends or family and tried to borrow money. That I kind of wanted to do it on my own. Maybe a fear of, something going sideways with that, and then, owing people money and whatnot. I wanted to just kind of do it. So that was the big challenge. Money was pretty tight in the beginning there. And then, as we all know, in GC world, there are some slow payments, and then there's the odd no payment.
So question. So what if you were mentoring somebody and they said, look, I'm starting a general contracting firm, what dollar amount would you say you need to have either this amount of cash or this amount of credit to start this? What would the number be?
I think it depends on what you're starting with.
What you had.
With residential, I started probably with $15,000, which didn't go very far.
Right.
I mean, if you could get somewhere in the range of 75 to 100,000 of some capital to be able to purchase things and pay for things and get going,
right?
Yeah. I think unless you're going to start, guns a-blazing and you got some big projects under your belt right away, that's probably a pretty safe number.
Right.
And maybe making a plan ahead of time would be a big one.
So did you start with a project right away?
I had a couple small projects.
Okay, so you already had deposits and all that kind of stuff happening, draws and all that kind of stuff.
I was not very business. I knew construction. I wasn't worried about construction at all.
Yeah, right.
But the business knowledge was a little lacking, and I didn't have those proper plans in place when I kind of got rolling. Setting up accounts on the fly and kind of as you went. So I think setting up a little bit of a plan ahead of time would definitely be a massive bonus, because once you're working, especially when you're starting out,
it's managing money.
You're just working. You don't have time to get organized. So
it's funny though, the ambition far outweighs all the other risks or rewards or anything, necessities. Just getting it going.
And I don't think don't make 100% plan, because that just doesn't exist.
That's what the money's for.
If you're 60, 70, 80% of a plan, get rolling with it. Because like you say, the ambition, and it's going to change and you're going to learn things as you go. But a little bit helps.
Was entrepreneurship in the family, or had you done any small ventures prior?
Yeah, entrepreneurship's big time in my family. I think most of my family, aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters, everybody is some sort of their own boss. Yeah. As far back as my grandparents. So it was always very much something I wanted to do. I think that freedom and doing your own thing was very important. I talked about it with still to this day some of my good long-term friends, and we talked about it back in high school about running our own businesses, and they all do actually now too. So it was very much there.
It's kind of cool when you see, because you get a sense of that from people. Like James was serial entrepreneur, starting all sorts of different things in high school even, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you hear, like you said, your high school buddies, and they start saying certain things, and it is interesting how much of that does actually play out, even if it's not in their 20s or whatever. Eventually it does start to play out. And you're that makes sense that person is where they are or whatever.
I did the same. My first little business venture was in high school. Well, I guess slightly elementary. I used to mow lawns in the neighborhood.
Me too.
Yeah.
For money.
Yeah. I got paid in jars of coins.
I probably did too.
No, jars like mason jar. I was like, thanks.
Here's the quarters and the dimes.
And roll them and take them in.
Quarters would have been a luxury.
Yeah.
talking pennies, nickels, dimes.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I was mowing lawns, and then I kind of started a little bit, I think, more of a business in high school with a friend of mine. He got his license, and my dad was a realtor, and my dad said to me once, "Oh, there's a lack of these sign installation guys, right? You put up the for sale sign, and they're always busy, and they're too late when you put a for sale sign up. Realtors want it up the day the listing is up, right? So we kind of started a little business just working for my dad and realtors he knew and stuff, and it actually got pretty busy pretty quickly. A lot of the realtors weren't paying us though, and we weren't proper business savvy people, so we ended up doing all this work. I mean, some were great, but some weren't. And you're chasing money in high school, and you're like, So we kind of let that go.
When the house sells, I'll pay you. Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of it was like, I'll pay you later. And
if you'd have just put the sign a little bit more straight, you might have had your money by now.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing.
I think the icing on the cake that made us kind of shut it down was a few of the realtors, they'd sell the house quickly, and then the sign would come down. Well, like we owned the posts and everything, right? And I wanted to build nice, clean, painted ones.
What do you call that? Like it's a 2 pieces to treated cedar and the
2 pieces. Yeah, we used to do them out of 4x4s and then notch them.
What's that called again? It's a carriage or something. A carriage, and then the 2 hanging things it would basically swing underneath.
Yeah, it was just a signpost. Maybe it has an official name.
It does have a name.
Does it have?
It must in the
it does.
World.
Because they went out of vogue for a while and then they came back again.
Yeah, now you see them.
Now that's
everywhere.
That's the deal. Yeah.
What did they go to? Like a lawn sign or like a little stick-in or online or like?
I think they were like the cheap plastic,
just cheap
pushing.
No, they were actually the frames that the 2 pieces of coroplast would just slide in the top.
That's right. Yeah.
They were just kind of U-shaped things.
Yeah, and these ones get higher and a little more.
And they look a little bit more chic.
Professional. Yeah.
Professional. Yeah. Strong. Like the house isn't going to fall down.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm a professional realtor type.
Yeah. It's all about that.
Yeah.
All right. So back to today.
So we talk about the early days. Getting things off. Obviously, you're learning a lot, and you can look back, and I'm sure ultimately, in terms of where you are today, I mean, it's all part of the story. It's all part of the journey and what you learned and shaped the whole thing. Was there an inflection point at all, early days or even, well into the business, that was, okay, this thing is, beyond my wildest dreams, what I could have imagined it was going to be, or okay, this is starting to feel like this is really going to go somewhere. There's momentum here.
Yeah, I think there was 2 big points. A few years in, as most young business owners, they do everything, right? Like they wear a ton of different hats and had a bunch of employees. And I was working a lot, out in the field during the day and work in the office at nighttime. We did have a small office at this point. I had 1 employee in the office, but I was still out of the office most of the time.
Yeah,
and I was bidding a job, and I was bidding it late. It was like I went home, I think, because kids were here now, both kids, and I went back to the office late, and I'm bidding a job at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'm exhausted, and I got this bid out the door really fast, and then I didn't hear about it for months. And then we got the job, and we're doing the job, and then I realized I missed some big items on my estimate because, wasn't paying attention properly on it, and I'm like, it all worked out in the end. I didn't take too much of a shot in the chin, but it was a big wake-up call that, okay, I got to make some changes here, and I got to stop wearing so many hats and hire some employees. Like, we're growing. Like, I can't do everything.
If you like that clip, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel and check out other clips from the Site Visit podcast, as well as full-length videos posted every Thursday.